It's time for the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking season 21, episode 2, not 4, 2. It is called The Darkest Journey Home. It stars Ariel Winter. Stick around!
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, this is SVU here at AfterBuzz TV. Please make sure you have liked and subscribed on YouTube. We're on the Drama channel. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and Spotify. That's right, we're everywhere. Today we're talking, beautifully done. Today we're talking season 21, episode 2, The Darkest Journey Home. Please remember that if you found yourself in a situation where you need help, there is a hotline for you. It is the RAIN hotline, 1-800-656-4673. I almost memorized it. 1-800-656-4673.
It spells out hope.
It does spell out hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Hope.
The more you know.
The more you know, Rainbow. Just picture that right here.
I haven't said who we are. I'm Yael Teagle. This is Taylor Gates.
Yep, it is.
Yes. Now you know.
Now you know.
And we're talking SVU. Sometimes this show goes a little dark. This episode, kind of heartbreaking, kind of sad.
Yeah.
But also, when things go dark, we go light. And there were parts where I, at home on the couch, made very inappropriate jokes, which I will share with you here. So please know that before you settle down to watch us. Sometimes we make jokes that might not be appropriate for everybody.
Yep. There you go.
I did it.
There you have it.
Now you've been warned. Now we can make jokes.
Now we can.
Okay, let's start. Before we actually begin, what did you think of this episode?
This felt like a very classic SVU to me, honestly. I did like that we got the sort of subplot with all of the trauma counseling. I thought it was interesting to kind of delve into everyone's head and like see what everyone kind of thought. I don't know, okay. I thought that was interesting. And I like how we have formats like that where it's like we flip from one person to the next, kind of each sitting in that same place. I always think that's just kind of a cool technique that they use. But
okay.
Yeah, it felt very kind of old school SVU. I thought Ariel Winter did a great job.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal.
I think she was really great in this episode. Seeing our cast going through these stories in the trauma informed interview training, I don't like that format. And I think it's a waste of our time. But I do like story-wise, but I do like that their traumas all connected to previous episodes.
That's exactly what I'm saying too.
I love when this show connects to other things.
Yeah.
It is one of my biggest complaints when they bring up stuff. They're like, this is like that other thing that we have to now make up. They have 20 seasons to pull from.
Right.
They shouldn't have to make anything up. So I loved that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a sec. The chief mandated this training, but also he wants them to get better. And Finn says if he wants us to get better, she gives more detectives.
I was like, he's got a point.
That is correct.
He's got a point.
Because at this moment, this episode specifically...
Yeah, 3 people.
There are 3 people on our team.
That's crazy.
The team has never been this small.
Yeah.
Ever. I think it's always been 5.
Yeah.
5 minimum. I don't know why I'm so angry and so high.
Because they're trying to be
My voice is so high. Perfect.
We're outraged.
I am outraged. My voice gets high when I'm outraged. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. So Benson relives the William Lewis trauma. I know how much you hate.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I'm not a fan of the William Lewis episodes. That's probably an unpopular opinion. I didn't like them. I didn't like them. Sorry.
Okay. I really liked that it ties in. I really like that they didn't pick something dumb.
I just wish we didn't. I don't like the way that those episodes were shot, really. So the fact that we got all the flashbacks of, I'm like, this is just like a lot. I don't know. It's just not my favorite.
Okay.
But we'll move on.
Rollins is told to think of a time when power is taken from her. She says like giving birth. And the one was like, that could work. And then was trying to convince her to not go with that.
Right.
And I kind of wish she would have, I understand she went with her assault from her captain in Atlanta, which makes sense. But when she said it, I think it would have been interesting for it to be a different thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
Because two traumas were assaulty, and then Finn's was seeing his mom get shot, which, we just introduced at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Love that came back.
I did too, and I loved his line when she's like, this can bring up feelings that you don't want to have, and he says, it's okay, I know they're still there. I thought that was my favorite line of the episode.
Yeah, Finn's reaction to this was really great, because he was like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see the point of this.
It was sort of surprising to me, to be honest. Like, I thought he would be so against it,
Yeah.
especially because he was like, we don't need this, we need more people. And so I really liked the sort of, like, he was very retrospective, and it was just, like, a very mature reaction from him, and I really liked that he's the one that's like, oh, I get why we're doing this.
Right. I think we forget how smart Finn is.
Yeah.
Like, we take him for granted. We see him as he makes the funny jokes. He says the one-liners. He's sassy, you know, when he takes down perps and they make him run.
Right.
I love when he's mad that they made him run. And so I think we take him for granted and forget that he's been on the job so long.
Right.
Just behind Benson, and he's very smart.
It's interesting, though, too, because, I mean, we've gotten him in previous seasons that he's sort of against, like, a lot of the therapy aspect, and I guess that this is a little bit different, but it's not that different. This felt very sort of therapeutic to me, so I wonder if this will kind of lead in a change in him at all.
I also hope that now that we've done this thing, and we see Benson really adapt to it, continue through the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially, my favorite moment is where she goes, tell me about water.
Yeah, so tell me about water.
If I were Reagan, I would have been like, it's wet. The kind of a stupid question is, tell me about water.
Tell me about water.
So this technique is interesting. It feels very Benson.
It does.
Feels so her.
I kind of wish that we would have gotten more about how it actually works, though, because I'm like, how is this different from what they usually do?
Right.
I was a little confused on that, but maybe we'll dive deeper into it.
Well, I think that, I mean, this is what I'm taking from it. I don't know if this is correct, but I think the concept is you're asking how they feel, and so as they explain how they're feeling, it should help remind them of other things. Like, I felt this. Oh, I felt that because I smelled this, or I felt that because I saw this.
That makes sense.
But also, I mean, the therapist lady, when she said, tell me about it, she didn't say specific. She was like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Keep going. Which should have been part of their interrogations anyway.
Right.
Not interrogations. Victim statements? Whatevs. All right. Yes, perfect.
Thanks.
Let's take it to the plot.
Yeah.
All right, so we meet our guest star, Ariel Winter from Modern Family. Yay.
She did so well. She was
Thank you.
Exactly. Such a dramatic kind of twist for her.
Yeah.
And it was just a hard character to play, I think.
I think she killed it. It felt really natural for her.
I agree.
Which is weird.
Yeah, because it's very different from a Modern Family character in, like, every way.
Yes. It felt similar to, this is going to sound odd, it felt similar to her online persona.
That makes sense.
Right? So, like, if you've seen her Instagram, she comes off as someone who is more party and you know, free-spirited.
Like social, yeah.
Yes. So I think it felt more like a play on that. Like, they took, hey, people are saying these things about you.
Yeah.
Let's take that character.
Yeah.
And let you play that role.
Mm-hmm. I really liked it.
I thought she was killing it. So we meet her drinking with her friends. She has Coke. She's like, let's go out.
And what does she do? She takes a quick ride.
She does take a quick ride.
Guys. Love it.
Exactly. And then I was like, Pink? We're playing Pink.
I loved it.
I
I'm
love
so
Pink.
glad you guys got the rights to this.
I love Pink.
Me too.
So then we meet Julius, who is in her rideshare.
Julian, right?
Juliet.
Sorry. I had Julian written down.
That's fine. The rest of the time in the entire thing, my notes are passenger.
Yeah, passenger.
Accurate. So then Reagan wakes up in her bed. There's sand. She has marks on her ankles. She walks into SVU. Benson says, did something happen? She says, I have no idea. I think I was raped, but I don't remember. Rollins looks at her quick ride app. She took a ride from Chelsea to Sheepshead Bay. I don't even know what that is. To be fair, I'm from California.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that is either. It just sounds like somewhere you don't want to go.
Also, Clemente Crab House. I'm sorry, that's not a girl who's going to go to Clemente Crab House. She just doesn't seem like she'd go to Clemente Crab House.
What if she wants crabs in the middle of the night?
I feel like she'd go to, like, a nice hotel restaurant that serves, like, really upscale crabs. Then.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She's not going to Clemente Crab House.
I feel like someone needed to make a crabs joke.
Yeah.
Like, well, that girl has crabs. You know what I mean?
One of her awful friends, maybe?
Thank you. Yeah, one of her friends would have
Her friends
definitely.
are terrible.
I'm surprised they didn't make a crabs
That's
joke.
what I'm saying. They're awful.
I definitely left them out of my notes because I was like, nah, screw them. They're not helpful.
They're the worst.
So the ride took her home and then took a stop in Astoria and then went to Sheepshead Bay. It was 1:40 when it should have been 15.
That's crazy.
How do you wake up and not check that?
That gave me so much anxiety.
Why?
Because that's so much money.
That is a lot of
Oh,
money.
that's a lot of money to spend. That's like a New Year's Eve money right there. Because like Uber's on New Year's Eve, a lot.
That's true. That's true. They do surge and like don't tell you about it.
Guys, I'm a quick ride expert. I know when the surge prices happen.
That's true. All right, so she's afraid to go to Mount Sinai. We later find out her fiance Richard works there.
Did you call that? I called that.
Did you?
I did because they said, "Oh, he's working a double." I'm like, "Oh, he's a doctor."
Right.
And Steve's like, "I can't
So you
get him
put it
outside."
together.
So I'm like, "It must be her fiance working there."
Yeah. She
I was
claims.
proud of myself, too.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
She claims he has anger issues. We go to Mercy Hospital. She has cuts, abrasions, splinters in her feet, finger pad bruising on her neck, arms, and ankles, extensive anal and vaginal trauma. Her friends, all I say is she's like, sometimes they just want a crazy story. Sometimes they're friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
man. They saw her get into the car. And honestly, this is where I remembered my 20s. I was like, I was that friend who was all about like going out and having a good time and doing stupid things. And my friends cared. My coworkers loved having good stories. Mm-hmm. And that was when I learned not to drink with coworkers because your coworkers, unless like you become good friends, they want to enjoy laughing at you. What a sad dun-dun that was.
It's that wah-wah.
She feels like she can trust Benson, so she discloses, I drank a lot, I took a Xanny.
None of that matters.
None of it matters.
Every time she says that, I'm just like, it just warms my heart up.
When she was like, I feel like I trust you, I was like, you can. She's Benson.
Can.
So the driver says that the girl was crazy, dropped her off at a clam bar. She changed her route during the ride. He didn't hang around. He dropped the passenger off first. She got mad. He claims that she got mad when he wouldn't go up to her and yelled at the driver to take her to another bar. This is another one of those moments where I felt too similar, where I definitely have yelled at people when I was intoxicated and was like, come on upstairs. And they were like, no. And I was like, screw you.
Oh my God.
I'm being honest.
I'm glad. Thank you.
These are things that have happened to me. This episode hit very close to home. To be fair, I've never had something as horrible happen.
Right.
But I've definitely yelled at people for not... Because they were like, no, I'm going to bed. And I was like, we're partying.
I think they did a really good job depicting it, actually. Which,
Yes.
like, is saying something, because sometimes it's like, no one, like, uses that lingo. Like, no
Right.
one does this. Like, this felt like people were actually having a night out.
Yeah, this felt like my 20s. Okay. So Benson is talking Reagan through the trauma. She says, what did you see? What did you hear? She saw white. It sounded like water. Tell me about water.
Tell me about water.
It's wet. Don't ask me.
You gotta drink it to live.
Right. The earth has a lot of it. My body has a lot. Tell me about what it comes from the sky. I don't know what you want from me. Then Dr. Richard arrives. I saw this man and went, he does not have an anger management
Here's
problem.
the thing, though, because I kind of thought they were going to play on that because she said, like, oh, this guy has an anger problems. And then he walked in and he looked so harmless. And I was like, I think he does have a dark side. Like, I really thought they were going to play on that about, like, oh, like, it's the girl who cried wolf, whatever. And he was actually going to be really sketchy and horrible. I really thought they were going to take this.
Oh, when he says to Benson... how, is the rape kit done? And she's like, we need your DNA. And he goes, right, for exclusion. I was like, this man has not left a library since undergrad.
But sometimes people have really convincing personas, especially when it comes to domestic abuse and stuff. And I really thought that was the direction they're going because he did such a good job of seeming like he wasn't a threat.
That's so funny. I feel like shows do not do that.
I don't know.
I feel like TV really wants you to understand this person's going to turn out to be bad.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's you never know what could happen behind closed doors. I really thought that's where this was going.
Yeah.
And then it didn't really ever come up again. But
I wrote, seems like a real non-abuser. Not to say that, anyone, you never know, whatever.
No, but you're right. He seemed extremely
This character, I went, I could hurt him.
Right, yeah. He was very much a little meat guy.
Yeah. I, couldn't find the words in English that I was looking for to describe him. Yeah. Meek. Okay. So the talk screen reveals drugs. I lost count of the drugs. I wrote drugs, booze, Xanax, Coke, Ambien. What else did you catch?
That's all.
That's all I got? Okay.
I just knew there was a cocktail of drugs.
Yeah, I was like, she said a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
The DNA samples have 2 samples, not the fiance. She lied to Benson about the family thing.
Yeah.
And lots of previous drinking nights, which resulted in her going to the hospital. These are all things that we've learned.
Yes.
There's no footage, or the other passenger's app shows that he was dropped off. The case is falling apart at this point.
Yeah.
So, Rollins points out, and I definitely thought you would see this as well, that Reagan reminds her of Kim.
Yep. I was like, ooh, she's got a point, but that's no excuse to not believe her.
Right. She says that kind of girl just craves drama. Yes, totally. That girl does. Also, she was assaulted.
Right. I think that was I understand her comparison for sure, though. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I like that they referenced that. Because it's not just oh, this girl, I don't believe her, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes Amanda tends to do.
Right.
I like how she's she has a specific reason. I've seen this a million times with my sister.
Right. And I think that that's fair. But it was, and I appreciate that it came after we had the rape kit where, here's all the evidence that something happened.
Right.
So I really loved that. So Finn goes to Reagan's apartment. He finds sand in the shoes. Rollins gets the passenger's DNA.
I loved this.
I knew you would.
It was so funny.
It was great.
This just doesn't really look like oatmeal. Can you taste it? Just the way she was talking was so funny.
I like his I can't taste it. She's like, you don't know how?
You just go in and you suck it.
You put your lips around the straw and suck it.
My question is, did he give her another straw? That's disgusting. You just have some random drink out of your drink and then continue to drink. So, I know she didn't actually, but...
he did not. He did not give her another straw.
Awful employee.
And B, I think his thought was that she wanted his saliva.
I guess.
She wanted his gross germs all over her drink. I really feel like if any customer ever did that to an employee, they would then go, ew, make me a new one.
Yeah, honestly.
Like it's a prank. They're being jerks. They're not... Anyway.
This is such a bizarre, but amazing scene.
Also, he clearly has never bartended, because bartenders try drinks all the time. You know how you do that? You take your little straw, you put it in the drink, you put your finger on top of the straw. Then you release it, and your mouth never touches the straw. Also, that straw does not go back into the drink.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Go to a bar, sir.
He's dumb.
The more you know.
The more you know, in
fact. The more you know. That's the whole episode today. The more you know.
All right. So then Rollins gets the driver's urine.
Also loved it.
So gross. I really like when she thought he was gonna throw away the bottle.
Yeah, she's like, oh man, and then she's like, oh, he's taking it. Oh, it's full of pee.
I liked seeing her put the glove on.
I thought it was so funny. I was like, sir, is there not a Starbucks around? Is there not? Go to Julius's coffee shop. Go to the bathroom there. Why are you peeing on, That's not even in the middle of the woods or anything. This is straight up in an urban environment.
Yes.
There is a public bathroom. There has to be.
So then Benson goes to Rich's apartment to see Reagan. She's like, he hit me. He hit me.
Whoa.
That's when I was like, damn, I was wrong.
That's why I was like, oh my God, he's awful.
Nope.
And then no, she's just like, oh.
Especially because he opened the door and was like, come in, please.
Yeah.
So then she's like, just kidding. He won't even yell at me. He should, and he won't. don't understand. I mean, I get it. I know that, like, guys like crazy hot girls. Sorry,
Yes.
hot crazy girls, not crazy hot
girl.
Hot crazy
I
girls.
like crazy hot girls too.
Don't like crazy.
No, but not hot crazy.
I see.
Hot.
You like crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
who doesn't like crazy hot
Come
girls?
on.
Anyway, not the point. The point is, he deserves better. I was like, he's so... I'd
really
date him.
trying
He
to stick
seems
it
great.
out.
He
Yeah.
seems wonderful.
He's trying to stick it out so
Can
hard.
I date him?
You would not.
Why? He's a doctor.
Yeah, I guess. He seems like, I don't know. He doesn't have much edge to him, you know?
That's fine. I'm no longer in my 20s.
Okay, well.
I am Reagan's future. Anyway, so then that is the end of that
Right.
whole
which
thing.
I thought was strange.
Yes.
But, oh well.
Also, if we're gonna say she's like Kim and she's gonna behave this way, and we've already established at this point that Kim has bipolar,
I thought that she was bipolar as well.
and it would make sense.
Yeah.
And we just ignored it.
Yeah, I really thought that we were going to find something like a mental illness. with
Right.
her.
In addition to what happened to her,
Right.
we discover that she has
Same.
an illness. All right. So then she and Benson talk. Benson's like, we can talk about whatever you want. And she remembers that she had to pee. She remembers, I begged them to let me up. Please just use the bathroom. And they laughed. They were raping me, and I was worried about messing their bed.
I thought that was so sad.
So sad. And I think that's such an important moment. Because I feel like there's so many, it's one of these little, things in our lives that we constantly are told to be polite and to not take up too much space and to not offend. And even in this situation, it's just so ingrained that, like, she had to pee and ask them to go, and they said no, and she just had to hold it.
Yeah. Oh, that broke me. Like, that whole scene was just, like, heartbreaking.
So the DNA matches a military database. We find out that Reagan's old boss, Dennis, she saw him earlier and gave him a blowy. I liked how, like, oh, yeah, that happened.
Forgot about that.
Also, the DNA was found in her Invisalign.
Yeah. I was
So
like,
gross.
Oh, wow.
That was honestly the most disgusting part of the episode.
Agree.
I was like, that line is unnecessary.
It's so specific.
It's so gross.
Like, oh.
Yes.
Exactly.
Disgusting. So Benson is like, tell me about your family. And Reagan gets all mad. She says she likes to exaggerate. Could you keep it down over there?
Apologies.
So anyway, she gets real upset about it. I don't... This is, I think, the moment from the promo from last week. They said, like, that the new technique is controversial and...
Right.
And
we
this
never
is the...
thought that it was, like, controversial.
I think it
or
was
that
this
groundbreaking.
moment that, like, it offended... Because she was like, tell me about this. That was, like...
Yeah.
It pushed her to the edge because she was mad and she left. And so Benson shows up and she's like, what do you want? She's like, I want us to start over. I know that you were raped. And so they retrace the steps because it's the best chance to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And I've said this in previous episodes, I love when we retrace steps.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I really like it.
Well, yeah, and I think it tied in really well with the new technique where it's
Yes.
like, okay, we see this, and that reminds us that we went here, and then we went here.
So we're outside the bar, and she says, I was feeling invisible. It was silent. My friends were talking. I couldn't hear them. Tell me about silent.
Yeah.
It's when you can't hear.
Tell me about silence.
Water is wet.
Tell me about water.
Stop. Ugh. So they go to Sheepshead Bay. The smell from the fryers, she remembers, it was sour in her mouth.
Right? Would she ever go there? If she could smell the fire outside. Reagan's not the girl to go there. I'm just saying, I'm reiterating that point.
I get that, but I don't know if you've ever been that sloppy drunk that you're like, I don't care, I need fried food.
That's valid. But she said, like, Uber Eats it. Don't get all the way to Sheepshead Bay.
Girl, she wasn't in charge. If I were that sloppy drunk in a car and I was like, I need food, and they were like, oh, I know a place, I'd be like, great.
Take me there.
Yeah. I once convinced, and it was a taxi back in my day, I convinced a taxi driver, we were 5 minutes from my house, to turn around and go to IHOP.
Oh my
And my friend in the car went, she's drunk, why are you listening to her? Yeah, we went to IHOP.
I was a Denny's girl myself.
It was in college, and the Denny or the IHOP was closer.
Okay, Denny's was closer to me.
No, growing up, I was a Denny's girl.
Okay.
Anyway, not the point. Where were we? Tell me about silence.
Tell me about silence.
So she remembers sour in her mouth. I kept thinking, where are my shoes? There was gravel under her feet. She was dragged. The smell changed. The ocean, low tide. That's the part where I went, you biologists? What do you mean low tide?
It was low tide. The moon was like perfectly like.
Okay. I meant marine biologist? Whatever. I was here. They were laughing, singing. They kept making fun of me. Uptight girl. And I was like, girl.
I knew it was not uptight girl.
I was like, I understand if they were singing Uptown Girl, but calling you Uptight Girl, that would make sense. The fact that she's not aware of the song Uptown Girl.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I get it.
That's when we see the boat.
Yeah.
It's titled Uptown Girl.
Girl.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. All right. Reagan panics. I don't want to go there. Don't make me. And we're done. You did great.
Yeah.
We did it. All right. Now Carisi starts doing his job.
Yeah.
All right. So they pick up the owner of the boat. The passenger used to work at the restaurant. Footage shows that there was an older guy that Reagan kind of remembered. These guys, this part made me laugh so hard. When Carisi's like, these guys have a friend. They can call at 1 a.m. for a gang rape.
Right.
What
low
kind of
lives
animals?
hang with low lives.
That's true. So they work the scumbags until they confess.
I would thought this was a lot of new characters at once, to be honest. I was a little confused at first. I was like, wait, what? Like, where did this person come from?
So as soon as she was like, I remember the tattoo.
Yeah.
Which was great, except that was someone new.
Right. I was like, there's 4 people now? Like, I was a little bit confused for a second.
Yes, I agree with you. And I, even the second time watching this, got to the guy with the tattoo and went,
Who is this?
shouldn't the tattoo have been the guy we just met who owns the boat?
Yeah. I was like, what?
Ugh, so... Julius called Anthony Moreno, who owned the boat. Finn finds the proof of this call and that they were friends. I loved that when he's like, I don't know him. And he's like, yes, you do.
Did you see this Instagram post for a baseball game from 2 years ago?
So good. So the driver turned his phone off at 1:30 a.m. so we can see him. Anthony is brought in and says that Julius called to borrow the boat. He's on the straight and narrow. Reagan remembers Anthony holding her down. Then she remembers the tattoo, which gets us to our 4th guy. Came out of nowhere. Anthony had called him. So then she freaks out that the story about what happened with her boss is going to come out and doesn't want to testify. She thinks they're going to get away with it. This whole thing was unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when we found the 4 guys, we should have just tried to figure that out.
Right.
We didn't need her freaking out. And Carisi being like, how is she going to be on the stand? Obviously, not great. We're going to make a deal. So Anthony's going through the divorce. He's got the most to lose, but then he gets a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think that this episode, and not to spoil if you're watching these in order, but in the next few, Carisi's treated like he doesn't know how to practice law.
Right.
And I don't know that, I don't know that I like it, and I also don't know that it makes sense. That I need to stop listing. He's A15. He's been working with SVU for a few years.
Right.
He also studied law, passed the bar, shadowed Barba.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, this is the 2nd episode that we've seen him be a lawyer in.
Yes.
So to be fair, he's very new at it. I think everyone just wants to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed.
Right, but the other lawyer is just rude to him, and he's like, listen, he was on the boat, but nothing happened. He's like, well, he was off the boat.
But that's
now what?
par for the course for those attorneys.
Yeah, but
They're always rude to them.
Yeah, but he's always like, you don't know how this works. And Grace is like, I do know how it works.
Yeah, I thought that made sense because they're just always awful. Like, they're always not nice to our people.
Yeah, but knowing where we're going with this season and knowing the future episodes, it's not this time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Anthony
Hadid,
gets
you know?
What?
Where was Hadid?
Yeah, where was Hadid?
Where was Hadid?
Thank you. So he apparently was on the boat. He saw that she was messed up and left. Then his lawyer's like, he'll tell you everything that happened. He wasn't on the boat. Make a deal. So the driver says that Anthony couldn't get it up. That's why he didn't rape her. Which, like, it needs to be addressed that, like, that's attempted rape then.
Right.
Still a terrible person.
Yep.
Just because you couldn't get up doesn't mean you didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Sketchy.
So he says it was the passenger's idea. He set it up. The driver says that he didn't rape her. He put her shoes back on, made sure she got her purse and phone, and drove her home.
My favorite.
Yes.
If I hadn't, who knows what would have happened to her? What's already happened to her?
Right.
Like, what? I don't know that it could get a whole lot worse than that. Like,
To be fair, what would have happened to her was she would have woken up on the boat.
right, but like,
And then would have gone to the police and been like, this is where it happened.
right. I'm like, dude, like, you're not like some noble guy. I mean, yeah, it's great that you took her home, but like, let's not make yourself the hero. Like, a lot of bad stuff has already happened to her.
Also, I think that had you left her there, it would have served her better.
Leave and go get help. Like, do something other than just like, oh, I'll just wait until they're done. Like, what? I was like, you still suck. Let's not try to make you're the good guy. No, you're not.
But also, she would have woken up there. She would have looked at her phone and seen the ride.
It would have all happened faster.
Yeah, we would have found them easier. So what you did was hinder this, conceal evidence.
Yeah, you suck still.
Boom. Hindered prosecution. I know my lawyer words. I'm a lawyer. Okay. So it's not going to trial. Everyone's taking a plea. She's not happy about that, I guess. Yeah, but girl, you were not going to do well on... Like, she would lie. She would just be like, I'm not lying, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, I mean, I understand her wanting it to be, like, harsher sentences, obviously, get to see her day in court, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's probably good, though.
I would never put that girl on the stand.
No.
No.
But I understand why she would maybe want to.
Right, of course. So Benson says you survived the assault, you're going to survive this.
I sort of love how she's like, how many people have you said that before? And I was like, wait, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, I love that speech every time, but I like that we had her sort of push back a little bit on it.
Yeah, but just because she said it before doesn't mean it's not true.
Right, but I like how she's like, oh, are you just like kind of saying that as like almost like Hallmark card type, you know? You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and Olivia had to be like, no, like, I didn't really believe this. I really kind of liked that because a lot of times the victims are like, oh, I'm just like so happy you're here. Like, I like how she still has that sort of like attitude to her, and it's not just, you know, taking that with, you know, whatever she says.
Well, she says, how do you know, to Benson? And Benson says, because I did.
Yeah.
And so I like that mirrors with earlier when Benson's reliving the trauma.
Yeah, I think that made sense for both of those to be in the same episode, for sure.
Because, you know, Benson has said over and over again that Lewis didn't rape her, but she still was through a trauma. She still was kidnapped and beaten and things like that.
Yeah.
So in the end, she tells her that, you know, she's there if she needs to talk.
Yeah, very sweet.
That said, Benson has given her card out and told anyone that they can call anytime.
I was like, you have a lot of people just...
Right, she can't... Girl, you have a job to do.
Yeah, but it's sweet.
Ridiculous.
I still like it.
Yeah, and that was the episode.
Yeah, it was.
Yep, that was the plot. I really enjoyed this episode. It was very simple. I mean, not who did it, because that was complicated.
Yeah.
But the story was simple. It didn't have any surprises.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from how many people showed up. That said, it could have been more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you liked it?
I did, yeah. That was very solid.
All right. So usually we have a special feature of real SVU news, or we have deleted scenes. There were none this week or for this episode. But this was not exactly ripped from the headlines. It was inspired by, which is a weird way to say it, the assaults that have happened using Uber.
Yeah, some bad statistics just came out about it.
Oh yeah.
I don't have the exact numbers, but I know they released a report like just a couple weeks ago. I think after this
after this episode
was aired, but it's scary.
Yeah, so just be careful, I guess, when getting into cars. I think definitely, just some advice. Look at the license plate and make sure it's the right car you're getting into. Which actually, A friend of mine, we were at dinner and we finished and she got into a car and it started, or no, she was waiting for a car and someone got into a car and her phone said that she was like on her way home.
Oh, someone had done it.
Someone accidentally took her car because they didn't check.
Here's the thing. That's where not knowing anything about cars comes in handy because I have to check because it's like
Right.
a white Honda Civic. I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. I'm going to have to check the license
I
plate.
go color and license plate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. And then other lesson is don't just let your friends do whatever. Make sure they're texting you when they're home. And like take care of your friends because these friends in this episode, not the best.
Yeah, be better friends.
Be better friends.
Always tell your friends where you're going, who you're with, especially online dating. I have a friend, she has to send us a screenshot and where she's meeting the person.
Smart.
Especially if I could chime in.
Yes,
as well.
please chime in.
If you have an iPhone, you can send locations to all your friends. So if you have an iPhone, be sure to send your location to anyone. So just so they know where you're at.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The more you know. It's perfect. We don't need that cue added. We have our cue. That's the one.
Love that.
All right. So that's the rip from the headlines. We also do a poll here.
Yeah, we do.
Taylor, tell us about last week's poll.
Yeah, so last week's poll, of course, we discussed the season premiere. I'm gonna make you a star. Such a
I'm gonna
great
make
one.
you a star.
I'm gonna make you a star. So in fourth place, we have Producers Back End, which was season 16 and episode 3. In third place, we had Agent Provocateur, which was your favorite, yeah?
Yeah!
Sorry, third place. And
why is my favorite never the winner?
I knew you were gonna yell. And then we have a tie for first place, which, like, God bless, because one of mine won Father Shadow. Love that episode so much. And I'm gonna make you a star, which is hilarious because they had very, very similar first scenes.
Yeah, the first scene of the assault is...
You guys like that?
No, screw all of you. Here's
Father
what I think.
Shadow for the win. That's right, guys.
Every week, I feel like you go in, I'm sure you cheat. You have like 15 Twitter accounts and you're like, vote for my favorite.
I would never.
Why does mine never win?
Because I have better taste than you. Duh.
Moving on.
Anyway.
This week's poll.
We're gonna do our favorite episodes with Modern Family guest stars because there's been a lot of Modern Family and they've all been in the same family of the extended Modern Family. So I don't know what's in the water of that Dunphy house, but
it is the Dunphy house, guys.
You guys have been on SVU a lot. We have thrown it way back to season 3, episode 15. We have Ty Burrell's episode, and that is called Execution.
Yes. So this is an episode where there's a guy who's supposed to be on, or he's on death row, and he's supposed to be executed that evening. And what happens is that they then find out that there's still a body that hasn't been recovered, and he's trying to tease it out. I believe it's the episode where he attacks both Dr. Wong and Stabler, and then he ends up getting beaten by the security, the prison guards, and ends up not being able to be executed because he's in a coma or injured or something.
Wild.
Yes. Ty Burrell's his lawyer.
Yes. And then we also have Trials, which is season 10, episode 1. That's Julie Bowen's episode.
Oh, that is also Luke Perry's episode. That is, and Sarah
episode.
Gilbert. Such a good episode. It starts with a little boy who stole a van and goes for a joyride and is like, I hate my parents. And it turns out that he was adopted-ish by Julie Bowen and Luke Perry, but his biological mother is Sarah Gilbert, who was raped, and Julie Bowen was raped. They met at a rape survivor group.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that Luke Perry's the rapist and that he raped Julie Bowen and then married her.
Season 10 is full of good ones because our next is season 10, episode 12, Hot
House
House with Sarah Hyland. I'll explain this because I love this episode. It's probably one of my favorites of all time, besides Babes, of course. But this is the one where Sarah Hyland is the roommate of the girl who like fell off the boat or was pushed off the boat, and it turned like they were ultra competitive, like boarding school type deal. And Sarah Hyland pushed that girl off the boat.
That's all you want to say about that episode is that
Pretty
Sarah Hyland pushed her off the boat. She also had like been up for like 3 days or something.
Yeah, because she had been taking like Adderall or something, and she wrote in her journals, and her journals were crazy, and she was like pounding on the interrogation room.
And then she had no idea where she was.
That episode is just like so good.
It's so crazy.
And we go and we see the girl who died, like her dad was insane, like made them like kneel on rice in the basement.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that episode so much. It's
one.
crazy. And then we have this one, which we've been talking about for a hot minute, so hopefully you know the plot to The Darkest Journey Home.
Right. Great episodes, and we'll tell you in a few where you can find the poll and vote. I guess I should say which one I think is my favorite.
Yeah.
So that I next week lose
guess.
again.
Trials is your favorite.
I think Trials.
Mine's Hot House.
Of those, the Trials.
And right now I'm just saying Hot House is winning, so.
Shut up! I think you cheat. You're a cheater.
Trials is in last place, actually.
You know what it is? The ones that I like, people don't remember.
Probably.
And they're like, well, I'm not going to go rewatch them.
Like, season 10 and on, like, I, like, am golden. But you're like, oh, I remember season 2, episode 5 so well. And I'm like,
oh my God, I do!
It's like, okay, cool. I haven't seen that one in a minute, but...
Do you not know that on Ion you can watch on Saturdays all day SVU and on Sundays
cable.
USA
I don't
Network?
have cable, but
okay, but you have Hulu.
And I do have season 10 on DVD. As I've said before, my first ever box set of SVU.
So
very,
funny.
very dear to my heart. Season 10 is like, will always be MVP to me.
Okay. Let's talk about predictions. Ooh, predictions. Ooh. Okay. So the next episode is the Jussie Smollett case. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And I had this prediction. This is very weird, but it's a long-term prediction that Reagan gets, I did write that, her stuff together.
Yeah.
I wrote a different word. But she gets her stuff together and becomes a rape crisis counselor.
I would love that. We've seen that kind of before about, like, the people on the college campuses have, like, organized different things. Like, I would love that. Because I think that she and Olivia had a really good bond.
Yeah, and the way that it ended, I was like, oh, it would be really nice if that happened.
I agree.
Yeah. Any predictions about our team or anything?
I think we're going to get a new detective.
Well, we better. I mean, Finn threw such a hissy fit.
Yeah, there's
also,
no
our
way.
team is 3 people now.
Like, we can't do much. They're like, you realize there's 2 of us, right? And Olivia's like, fine, I'll just go to the hospital myself, I guess, because there's no one else.
I just don't understand how we've gotten such a small team. Like, remember when the team included Dr. Wong and Warner and other cops?
Right.
What happened?
We've shrunk.
It's
shrunk a lot.
We're in season 21. Why is the budget so small?
I'm ready to expand our team again.
Yes. I want to give some shout outs to people in our chat. We have Audrey who points out that Reagan's friends suck. Yeah.
That's correct.
We 100% are with you on that.
We couldn't agree more.
Yep. The Queen of Regals showed up.
Thanks.
And I think also left.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and Giants #1 fan me. Yeah, we're going back to episodes we missed.
Yeah.
This is episode 2.
Not too many more. We have 1 or 2 more?
One more. Episode 3.
We'll be caught up in no time.
I don't know when it is that we're doing episode 3. I assume in January.
It'll be after the holidays season, after New Year's.
Yeah, because somebody has to go celebrate a holiday.
Sorry.
Whatever. But until then, where can everyone find you in the poll?
Yes, you guys can find me, and more importantly, the poll, on Twitter at alphabet_Ann, and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Also, the correct answer to the poll is Trials.
The correct answer is Hot House.
Or Hot House.
Go ahead and just vote Hot House.
You can vote Hot House and then Trials.
But you can vote Hot House.
Shut up. I hate everybody. You can find me everywhere at Yael Teagle. That's YAELTYGIEL. I'm also going to be watching SVU all through the holidays.
Same.
Reruns, old episodes. Feel free to tweet at me what episode you think I should watch, because I would rather watch them randomly than in order.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too.
It's fun. And we'll see you in January.
Bye, guys. Vote Hot House. Thanks.
Asshole.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.